Welcome to Lights in the Night with your host, Russ Johnson. Uncover the truth about alien contact and hear from insiders who reveal the evidence. Stay tuned.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome back to Lights in the Night. Really appreciate you being here. Each week we bring you what we call UFO 100. It should be 101. We'll move it up one day. But we're just doing the basics of what UFOs are all about, aliens are all about, why they are here, what they're looking for. It's a lot of information coming out of the congressional hearings. I had another one last week. And, well, Lou Alexander was the one prior to that, and then David Grush was the one prior to that. But there will be more coming, and even your president, he's going to make that announcement very soon that he has met with aliens, and he's going to talk about some of the nuances. He's not going to shock you, but he's going to tell you what's going on. You know that, and the last time he was in office, he made it official that we do have another form of protection for the planet. It's called the Secret Space Force. But there's another one, the Secret Space Project or program, and that's the secret one that has the dark energy and all that. But that we'll talk about that. Do you have any questions of me?
I do have questions for you.
All right, sir.
This week, it was uncovered that under the pyramids, there's a whole thing going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell it is, but it's vibrating energy to something in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Because they're saying that it has to do with sending messages. Now, is it every pyramid or is it
every pyramid? That's what pyramids are for.
So it's like the tip of the antenna of the pyramids.
You can say something like that. When they finish digging and doing the research and analysis on all of this, they're going to tell you what the deal is. They're going to start doing the research now.
So then, Russell, why expose it now? And you told me that they finally could see that.
No. You have to expose that. But this is called the year of disclosure. 20, 23, 24, 25, because the aliens are tired of waiting. They will be here and show in force all over the world, every city, every capital, and that's going to be somewhere around 28, 29, maybe 30. If Bashar, that's Daryl Anger, he's been giving information for the last 40 years. And then there's Elizabeth April. She's an intuitive, a psychic, and she does remote viewing and out-of-body experience back to the mothership above us that stays there. But anyway, so all the thousands upon thousands of entities, species, aliens who created us, they want us to know the truth about what's going on the planet, not to pretend, not the stuff that was made up for us, like the Bible, Protestant and Catholic and the Mormon religion. All of that is a farce, as William Tompkins says, and as Billy Carson says on his show. You'll find out the real truth about all of that pretty soon when you start doing your homework. As a matter of fact, if people want to do a little bit of homework, you can start looking at Zecharia Sitchin's. He's written about, 10, 15 books, one of which happens to be The 12th Planet, where he has gone into the Sumerian civilization and pulled out all the true records about the crucifixion or the flood and all of that, Sodom and Gomorrah, whatever. The truth is that all of those stories are pretend stories. The real truth is that the aliens created us some 400,000 or 500,000 years ago, called the Anunnaki. Since then, there are about 24 other different species of aliens have come to the planet Earth to visit us, watching us, to see what we are talking about, and they have put their DNA into us. So we are really the aliens. We are really the people who are far out. But they're watching us and see how we can and prove ourselves and develop to our full potential. Right now, the average human being, if you're not Einstein or something, or Elon Musk or whatever, who might have used about 8 or 10% of your abilities. The average person uses about 5% of his or her own possibilities of creation and mental, development. You got 95% that's gone unused, and Billy Carson and all those people will tell you why that's happened. But we are trying to lift up from the third dimension, the third vibratory energy, to the fourth and to the fifth, because Mother Earth is going that way. So there are a lot of changes coming, and the truth of the matter will be disclosed as people can handle the truth, because we can't eat the whole elephant at one time. We got to take a bite at a time. And so rather than disrupt all of the people's minds and sensitivities, if you will, like happened in 1938 when Orson Welles had the radio show called The War of the Worlds, and everybody at that time thought that was real, thought it was actually happening, and they panic. They don't want you to panic. So they say, let's give it to the truth to them a little bit at a time so they can handle it. Now, I just say one more thing. The people, if you want to do your research, and I think you should start because it's going to happen, the Robinson Report that the CIA put out in 1953 tells you all about why they wanted to keep it a secret. Then in 1961, the Brookings Institute did another study that they sent to the congressional people, the committees, saying, and that is that the implication of peaceful space activities, and you want to punch that up, Google that, and it says the same thing there. If you tell the human beings where they are mentally, intellectually, consciously, then they would be upset, and they won't be able to handle the truth. So they decided to wait and give it to you a little bit at a time.
And at the end of the day, Russell, Lights in the Night, you've been doing this now over 10 years.
No, more than that.
More than 10 years.
Yeah, but
you've been talking about this news for how many, 20, 25 years?
No, 70 years.
Okay, so you've been talking about this 70 years, and you've been trying to express to people the truth.
A little bit at a time.
And to educate, because you and I, we've had long conversations about education.
Right.
And educate people about what's going on.
Right.
And has it gotten better, worse?
No, it's going to escalate now. This is beginning. See, before you didn't have the congressional hearings. Now you do. So they're like Rubio and other people, he's Secretary of State now. But they have that information. Trump has that information. Elon Musk has that information. They're going to give it to you a little bit at a time because you can't give it to us all at once. A little bit at a time.
But these guys have always, every president that has come in before Trump had access to the information.
No. Yes and no. Sorry, apologize. I didn't mean to say that. They had a little bit of information because, let's go back. Let's go to Clinton. Clinton wanted the information, right? Oops, sorry about that. Maybe that's a guess.
It could be.
Maybe that's a guess. No, it's not. Let me turn this off. No. Sorry about that. Clinton wanted to give out the information, and even his wife was talking about, once we're in office, we're going to give you the information, but they wouldn't give them information. They wouldn't give them all the information about Area 51, about Grooms Lake, about S4, about the Secret Space Force.
Why, Russell? Why weren't they selected to have the information?
No president has been. The only president that has been really read in for more than most of it was Eisenhower. He met with aliens back in 1952 and also 1954. That's documented, and that's going to come out pretty soon. He met with them, made a deal with them. The person who really has this information that people want to just speed it up a little bit is called Michael Seller. He has a book about Antarctica, the hidden truth about Antarctica, and then he has another book called The Galactic Command. You want to pick those books up because he documents. He's a very prolific, very accomplished, very astute researcher. You want to listen to what he has to say.
And is it true that there is an agreed deal that no one can put a flag on Antarctica because it's supposed to be sacred ground and what's hidden underneath?
Well, the Antarctica, the Germans control that.
No, there's an agreement that nobody can claim it.
Okay, well, you may be saying that, but the German forces took over Antarctica in 1941, 42, 43, 44, 45. Hitler sent all of his people there, hundreds of thousands of people. He put in Antarctica, and they control that as we speak today. Then the United States wanted to get all the scientists that were working on the spaceships of the 1930s. The Germans were. And so they decided after the war, 1945, to use what they called Operation Paperclip. You can punch it up and read all about it. And Operation Paperclip, they decided to bring them all here, von Braun and all of them, and to take over NASA, the National Safety Space Administration. The Germans control all of that. They control Pfizer and a lot of the institutions here in this country. They're in charge of it. Yeah.
And there is hidden secrets, I understand.
Oh, yeah. There are spaceships. As a matter of fact, in 1947, they sent Adam Byrd to chase the Germans out of Antarctica. And so he took 4,000 people. He took about 4 or 5 ships, maybe 10 planes, and they ran him out of there. They destroyed all of that because they had spaceships that blew him out of there. But you you can get that information by doing your research on that.
And how is it that now that the pyramids underneath the pyramids have been discovered? What happens now on the international level?
Well, the pyramids all over the world, in every country.
That's what I was going to ask you next. Do every other pyramid have the same thing?
Yeah, all pyramids.
All of them do.
Whether it be Peru, whether it be Mexico, whether it be under Lake Titicaca in Peru. Yeah, they have spaceships. They have underground bases. As a matter of fact, the spaceships go, out of the water, and they can go under the water and stay. There's cities under the water. You heard of the Bermuda Triangle, right? Mm-hmm. And all this problems that people have trying to get through. Well, if you go about 20 miles deep, there's a city under there where the spaceships and people live there.
Aliens how is that documented? How do we know that?
Well, you got to go talk to Linda Moulton Howe, right? She's been out there since 1979 researching all of this. She has a lot of that information. You got Gaia, this program Gaia.
Right.
And on Gaia, you got George Norey. He's out there. He's on Gaia all the time. And before that, back in the 1970s, 1980s, there was a guy called Art Bell. And he had Coast to Coast. He had millions of people listening to him at night about all of what we're talking about. And he was giving out that information back in the 1970s, 1980s. So,
and what's in Area 51? What do you think is buried there? That they won't let anybody within 5 miles of the place?
Well, no, because that's a secret base. Well, the only person that we talked about, remember the guy, Billy Woodard? He was commander of Area 51. You got Area 51, and the same area, you got S4, you got Grooms Lake, all of it connected. And so the people, they know what's there. They know what they're doing, Bob Lazar came out, I think, 1989, and he talked about he had been there, and they're back engineering all the spacecraft from the aliens that they had downed or commandeered. It's a lot of information. Is this so much information?
And also the aspect that we ever really go to the moon is the new thing now.
Yeah, that's a big subject. Yes or no?
No.
Yes or no? Now.
No, or yes. You can't be a little pregnant. It's yes we went or no we didn't.
No. So, Gordon Cooper and what's his name? Can't think of his name. Mitchell, Edward Mitchell. They were before Mitchell died. He said they didn't go to the moon.
It was a hoax.
Yeah, and Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin said he apologized. But is that true or is that conspiracy?
No, they didn't go at one time, but the real fact of the matter is that some of the research said they did go to the moon one time at one point, maybe not the same time that's stated. But when they got to the moon, it's documented. This is really documented that there were aliens on the moon and spaceships on the moon, and they said, "Don't come back here." There were a couple more rounds, around here, but don't come back here.
So we haven't been to the moon,
Well,
or have we?
I think maybe one time, but they said, "Don't come back here." That's their territory.
Now there is modules on the moon that rover all over the place,
right, yeah.
and they don't see nothing but rocks.
It's so, well, it's so much information. The moon is not a planet. The moon is an observatory. They've been observing us, how we are progressing, how we are developing, how we trying to improve ourselves down here, and how we can get along, because we haven't figured out how to get the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the Independent. They arguing, fighting, knocking each other down, rape and pillaging, and the pedophiles are at it. So it's a lot of information here. It's a lot of information.
Interesting. It's interesting to see that after all this time, now we find out that perhaps some of the conspiracy theories about we never went to the moon, Area 51 is locked up tighter than a drum. You can't get in there.
Well,
now they discovered this thing with the pyramids. You can't hide that. There's also a corpse that was found that was like over 10 feet tall.
Oh, no, maybe some of them 25, 30 feet tall.
What is that all about?
Well, they say that, you say, who built the pyramids?
They can't even build them now.
Okay, fine. Because they say the people who did build the pyramids weren't our size. They were people who were 30, 40 feet tall. And they found skeletons that are 30, 40 feet tall. And then in the museums in Washington, D.C. and other places that they kind of hiding. So that's another big deal. And if you 25 feet tall, right, and you're powerful, then you 2 or 3 you could lift the blocks. But
amazing.
Yeah, maybe. So I don't know.
And what happened to everybody who built it? How come everybody disappeared? Where'd they go?
Who?
Okay, so let's say that you're in a city, and they started as a village by a lake, 1 person, 2 people. You still have remnants of people that started there.
Well, they got a lot of information, but they're not giving you the information.
So it's there.
Yeah.
So we gotta go to Egypt to find out what's going on.
Well, the governments of the world kind of conspire not to give you the truth. So but until they get ready to give you the truth. Have you seen the motion picture, The Truman Show?
Yes.
You did? What was it like? Tell me what was that? What was that like? Describe that for me.
That was such a long time ago, Russ, but I think it was about suppressing truth, wasn't it?
It was about Jim Carrey he was in this town, right? But he wasn't in the town. It was everybody outside. It was an experiment, right? And he was used as a pawn. As a pawn, watching him to do different things.
Gotcha.
Well, the same thing is happening now. This whole planet of ours is a pretend planet, and it's a game. And they're watching us to see what we're going to do. The other people in all four corners of the universe, they're far ahead of us. Some of them live 10,000 years. Some of them live forever. Some of them live millions of years. But we restricted to 7, so that's where we are. But that will improve once they get here, once they give us the information in the med bed. And when I'm talking about the med bed, if you go look at Sky Prince, SKYE, she looks like she's 40, but she's really about 150 because she's been regressed 30 years each time. So she looks like she's 40, but she's over 150. And she tells you all about the med bed. She's been on a lot of planets. So it's a lot of information they're not getting because everybody's watching Jerry Springer? Yeah, come on. That's not real. The real is you need to watch Ancient Aliens. You need to watch Gaia. You need to watch these people I'm talking about, Linda Moulton Howe, the great-great-granddaughter of President Eisenhower. You need to watch her. She's going to be on the show in another couple of weeks with us. So,
And when I'm curious, what does she have to say?
well, she knows she knows all this stuff. She studied all this stuff.
So she knows.
Yes, yes. But if you don't study, if you don't do research, how are you going to know anything?
Exactly.
I mean, you just stay dumb and and uninformed. How's that? I don't want to say any big other words.
Yeah, I think it's uninformed because they want you to be uninformed.
Of course, as long as you uninformed, then the president is a potentate, a king, or whatever, an emperor, right? But if you inform, you know he's just another person who has to be occupying that office for 4 years. It's no big deal. Or you don't look at the Pope as some god. You know, the Pope is just another man with a little dress on. I mean, with a white robe on, right?
And then all of these religious memoirs.
They made religion to control us, to see what we're going to do as an evolving human species.
But it's gotten even violent now when you have people that believe
the whole planet's violent. What happened during the Civil War? Come on.
So then, Russell, if the planet is violent, was that the blueprint to find out how violent we could be towards one another?
They're trying to figure out if we're going to evolve to be better, to be malevolent, rather than or benevolent. So how the species, how they're going to evolve and improve and have ethical and moral principles and love and caring and sharing and cooperation and consensus and helping each other. We got philosophy, but we need to take it to another level on the planet and to evolve.
So would you say that we ain't done a good job?
Well, we do a fair job, but for the little time we're here. But we only been here a couple of years.
Couple of years.
Yeah, so we're working on it. We're working on it.
Excellent.
It's a work in progress.
And Russell, also, if people have stories that we want to bring people on the show
who
have stories to
will.
share. How could they write into you to see if we can put them on?
Well, you can go to Lights in the Night, or you can go to UFO Nightlights at gmail.com, UFO Nightlights, or call me. And my number is 561-302-2588, 561-302-2588.
I would like to put you on the air until you can tell us your story. We'll listen. Nobody's
No,
judging.
I don't have a story. I want other people to come and say, I don't have a story.
That's what I'm saying. I want other people to come in
Yeah, you have their stories. Yeah.
and listen to what they have to
I
say.
have a story, but I don't need to talk about my story. I want to be like, remember, was it Larry King?
Yeah.
I want to just interview people. Walter Cronkite. I want to interview people.
Yeah, but we got to get them to come in.
Yeah, they'll be here.
Or send us or call us.
It's just a matter of time.
Yes.
They're whistleblowers and people out there with more information than I have, and they got more information than I could possibly even conceptualize or conceive of. It's a lot of information out there, and people are going to come forward now. The whistleblowers are coming. I'm glad they started with the congressional hearings,
Right.
because prior to that, the men in black would shut you down. They wouldn't let you talk. They'll take you out. And case in point, if they want to watch a motion picture that reference what I just said, watch Hearts in Atlantis, and Anthony King, he plays the major role. Watch that motion picture. That was done about 15 years ago. Hearts in Atlantis, and they show you that if you have the ability of telepathy, psychokinesis, if you know how to do remote viewing, and watch anything and everybody on this planet and other planet, they will take you out of here. So the people who have had those skills up until this point, they would come and get you. But Hearts in Atlantis is a point.
Now, were you picked to deliver the message for us to learn?
No. Just to be.
Or you just educated yourself?
Yeah, I'm learning. We're all students. We're all the same.
70 years is a long time to learn, Russell, and you seem to have your finger on the pulse.
Well, I've read a lot of stuff. I used to go to a lot of UFO conference. I got about 50 books at home I read. I would watch Gaia rather than watch the 102nd rerun of I Love Lucy or something like that. I watch Gaia. I watch Ancient Aliens. I watch Beyond Belief George Norrie. I watch the people who are coming to the planet now, who are the empaths, people who are the people who are enlightening, and they all give us the information that we need and that we deserve to have.
That's amazing. And you've educated yourself, you've learned. Have you seen anything at that level? Have you witnessed?
Okay, 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? 70 years ago.
That'll make you 20.
In 1952,
Okay.
I joined the Air Force. Okay?
Okay.
I was a control tower operator. I was a controller. That's about all I could say.
Well, you were a controller. You got to give us a little more. Where were you a controller at?
Oh, well, I took my basic training in Sampson Air Force Base. They sent me to Biloxi, Mississippi, which is the training place for controllers, air traffic controllers. Then I went to Luke Air Force Base in Arizona for about a year. And at Luke, it was a training base, and we had 30,000 landings and takeoffs a month.
And you were flying. You were controlling those planes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then they sent me to Japan, to northern Japan.
Now they moved you around a lot. So my question is, where, without saying what, where did you see what you saw?
No. I don't want to talk about that. What I want to do is say they sent me to Japan to teach the Japanese how to be air traffic controllers. That's 7 years after the war. The war ended in 1945. Okay. I went to Japan in 1952, 53. So that's right, 8 years after that. So we just helped them to rebuild after we bombed them.
So you had already seen whatever it is you saw?
Well, whatever.
Well, not whatever. It's
whatever.
Part of the education.
What I want to do is bring people to the microphone and to the table who are the whistleblowers like they do in the congressional hearings. The people who have been researching this for 60, 70, 80 years. The people who got all this information. Michael Seller, the George Green, he's gone now. The
Russ Johnsons.
The Russ Johnson is just a person who's handling the microphone, interviewing people who have the great information.
I get you, but you must have seen something. We got only a minute left.
Well,
you must have seen something. You got to give us something, Russell.
I just gave you that.
A little more, something.
I want to be behind the microphone.
All right,
interviewing the people.
We got to end the show, but if you guys write in, maybe Russell will give us a little something.
Well, go to UFO Super Patch.
Okay, that's fair.
You get something.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll take that. Why don't you tell people?
Oh, listen, thank you very much. What do you want me to say?
You want to say we'll see you next week?
I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you listening. But do your research. I mean, just don't listen to me. Go do your research. Delve into all the books and all the people who are doing some research. All the ancient aliens, watch that. Watch Gaia. Watch Cosmic Connections. Watch the motion pictures. Watch Fire in the Sky. Watch Communion. Go The Fourth Kind. Watch all this stuff. Information is right there. One of the things that I want to say, Steven Spielberg produced a miniseries, 13.5-hour miniseries called Taken, about 10, 15 years ago. You want to get that. You go to Amazon and get that and watch that. 13.5 hours. 98% of everything in that 13.5 hours is true. Watch it, and then we can talk.
All right. We're going to see you
Thank you very much
week.
for listening, though. Next week, same time, same place,
and
right here on Lights in the Night.
Thank you for joining us on Lights in the Night. Keep your eyes on the skies and stay curious. Until next time, good night.